Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk, live from Los Angeles, a little bit later than usual here tonight on this Thursday night, as I was the lucky beneficiary of seeing Creed 3, the very first screening of it tonight here in Los Angeles, and we have an embargo in place. So I need you to keep in mind that I can only go so far. As you guys know, those of you who've been longtime MMTers, and there's a lot of you out there, we got into trouble when we came onto the stream during the world premiere of Babylon and destroyed the film. Well, tonight we are in a much better place because we are about to talk about a very entertaining and a very enjoyable and, most importantly, a fulfilling film. You know, when you go to a film, you're looking here to have what your expectations are for the film. And you want to at least have those met and hopefully exceeded. So as we discuss Creed 3, we're going to start with my reaction straight out of the theater here moments ago. And I read it to you. I squeeze it up, make it larger. Creed 3's everything you could want from the finale to the Creed trilogy. Jonathan Majors proves to be a ferocious foil for Michael B. Jordan, who delivers a KO in his feature directorial debut. Plays huge in IMAX. Saw it in IMAX. It looks great. And it reminds you that theatrical is everything. Audience was cheering throughout. No joke. It's going to be big. I mean, really big. And, you know, listen, again, we have an embargo, so I have to make sure that this is 100% clear that this is not a review of Creed 3. Okay, this is not a review of Creed 3. This is just discussion of the film. Let's not... Okay, so there you see in the corner the reaction tweet. Let me mention a few things that I want to say for sure. When this film ended, the first thing I wanted to do was to go to the gym again today. Because when you look at Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan, you're looking at two guys that are stacked. Two guys that bust their ass in the gym. Okay, they are doing the work, and it is very evident when you watch Creed 3. You know, when you go to see these things that get you pumped and make you really want to exceed and do even more than you already do, that's another benefit of watching something as entertaining as Creed 3. But again, not a review. So I'm going to leave that up for a moment so that the MGM folks, by the way, thank you for getting me in here tonight. I want to mention this, that when MGM said, hey, Erick, you can come see it, I said, okay. My guess at that point is that they are confident with this film. Because you guys know my reputation. It precedes itself. I walk into films at premieres and savage them immediately after. So you're taking a risk. There's a risk reward with me that I hope you guys, of course you guys know this, but the reward is for everybody is that whenever I come out of a film, you know I'm not going to shill. I don't shill out. I never will do that. We had our show of the week on Sunday if you missed that. No. What we say here on the MMT show is gospel truth according to me. I will never spin anything according to what the studios want me to say, according to what I should be saying, quote unquote, the PC thing. No, the film is good or it's not, period. And Creed 3 is exactly what you want from the film, which is pretty much the highest praise you could pay for a film of this nature, right? But I gotta tell you, when you even look at Jonathan Majors here, and I know we're really early, okay? We're so early into the year. We're not even at Oscars 2023. But I'm telling you that I don't have a problem throwing a name like Jonathan Majors, Creed 3, into supporting actor for next year. Why can't we do that? What are the rules? What are the stipulations that we have to follow where we can't have an actor in a film like Creed 3 be in contention for a supporting actor nomination? I mean, the things that he does here, and I still haven't seen Ant-Man. I'm going to see it on Monday. We'll talk about that Monday night here on MMT. But the things that I see here from Jonathan Majors it's perfect. He is the perfect guy for this film. This is not a review. I got to watch. I got to watch. But Jonathan Majors, an actor who at first I was kind of questioning. I think he's got talent, but I don't know. And now I'm seeing it, and I can't wait to see Ant-Man so I can confirm what I just saw here tonight. But grounded, okay, which is always going to win for me. And then physically imposing, which is precisely what you need in the role. And you really need to, at this point in the Creed trilogy, right? So we're on number 3. You got to find someone that's the perfect fit for that. And they did. Jonathan Majors perfect. So that is really all I can do here tonight on this. I can't do more than that on Creed 3. It's the very first screening. This film doesn't come out until March 3rd. We're looking at almost a month from today. So we didn't do any spoilers. We didn't do any of that stuff. I just told you what you see at the bottom of the screen. By the way, again, not a review. Not a review. Some comments here on this Thursday night. Thanks for being here, guys, by the way. Creed critique. I like it. We'll do it because that's not a review. We can do that. We'll talk about both Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors and how both of them are yoked in this film. And again, Alex, thank you for that. This is absolutely not a review of the film. So let's do it here. If you want to do physique critique, whatever you want to do, get to it. No, listen, it's okay to laugh. No, not the case, okay? I can't get more into it than that, but no to this comment. Maybe some thirds suck, not this one. John, I didn't see it in Dolby. I saw it in IMAX, which is really the way you want to see the film because he shot the film. Michael B. Jordan directed this, and it's his first film, and he learned a lot from Ryan Coogler, that's for sure. Okay, stop. It's not a review. Stop, Eric. Stop. Okay, stop. But it looks really good in IMAX. And it reminds me again, right, of what we're going to talk about in our second topic here tonight is the importance of theatrical and why we need that to stay forever. Okay, we can't lose the movie-going experience. And it's nights like this that I'm reminded of that much more. And we're going to talk about Netflix and their role in that whole thing in just a moment. That's going to be fun. A few more, but again, I remember I've got to really watch what I say because I do not need MGM getting angry. But the good news is for MGM is I'm very high on the film, and audiences are going to be too. So that is really, without getting into reviews and things, that's the good news here tonight. Majors and Jordan are examples of contemporary, excellent body structure. They have very good genetics, no question about it. They're both thick. Right? They're just naturally, like Jonathan Majors is a big dude. He's built like a linebacker. Okay. Remember I told you guys when I met Jamie Foxx at an awards party, like right before COVID. Jamie Foxx is built like an NFL linebacker. And I imagine if I met Jonathan Majors at the same exact physique, thick, big dude, big traps, big chest. He looks like Mike Tyson in this film, which is again, perfect, right? This really is the role he was born to play. And the crazy part is Jonathan Majors is really coming on, as you guys know, obviously in Ant-Man Quantumania and now here in Creed 3. And we've seen his progression over the past several years, really since last Black Man in San Francisco. And his first time we laid eyes on him. And he's grown on me as an actor as well. But physically, this man is gifted. So both of these guys look amazing. I mean, one of the things you're going to absolutely get out of this film is inspiration. I think the film is inspirational. Again, this is not a review, but it is the kind of thing that we need now, right? In these times, we've been dealing with so much shit, right, in life. All the stuff off the screen, all the things that we're dealing with, we get to go into our palaces, our cathedrals, and to experience something like Creed 3, which is why we go to movies. And you leave all of it outside and you lock yourself in for 2 hours. And that is the magic of movies. And thank God that we still have theatrical and it still exists when many said, no, it's over. COVID's going to ruin movie theaters. It's dead. It's done. No, it's not. AMC hosting an early IMAX screening on the 27th, Dolby on March 1st. Yeah, they are very confident in this, Nick. We can talk about the business of it all night because it's not a review. When you talk about the confidence level of MGM on this film, I mentioned just inviting me to see it here tonight. Let's just be straight up. If you're going to invite me to see your film, you're opening yourself up to criticism, because I would still, if this film were not good, come out of it and tell you, even though I'm limited, I would still say very disappointing film, right? And then we'd probably have to leave it at that. But that's not what's happening here tonight. So MGM knows what they have, okay? Reports are the test screenings went really well. And after seeing the film, I understand the reports very well, because that just jives with what I just saw. So they are high on the film. This film is going to outperform, and it's in a really good spot. You got Ant-Man coming up, and then you get a little bit of a break, and then we get to Creed 3. Remember, box office is all about waves, okay? You can study it over the years. The number one thing that will help your film out is to have some distance, have some wake, very little wake in front of you. You do not want to run into the back end of a giant film. You do not want to put Creed 3 on the second weekend of Ant-Man, because what happens is not only are you dealing with Ant-Man in second weekend, you're dealing with a significant portion of the population that goes to movies that doesn't go every week. They only go to see event movie, then they take a break, then they go see another movie, they take a break. So you need at least a weekend or two in between to give you the space to regenerate the interest in the market, to get people to go back to the movie theater. Not you, not me. We go 3 times a week, right? We have AMC A-list. You can go 12 times a month, 3 times a week, right? Get it for 24, 25 bucks. It's worth every penny. I cannot vouch for this any more than that. I would pay double what A-list is charging. But you need space. And that's what Creed 3 is going to have. MGM in a really solid spot here with this film in early March. And remember, I told you, if we can just get through these next few weeks, we just had some lulls. This weekend we have Magic Mike. I'm going to see it this weekend. We'll talk about it Sunday night. I was going to see it tonight, but of course I'm going to go see Creed 3. Magic Mike 3 or Creed 3? Which one do you want to see, Eric? I think we're going to go with Creed 3. It's close, but, I love Magic Mike. The second one sucks ass. The third one, I have a feeling is not going to be good. But Creed 3 is the rare number 3, right? The third film that you have a very solid outing here. If I were to rank them, and again, this is very hard because it's not a review. I want to make sure, again, this is clear, not a review. I would rank them 1, still number 1, 3, and then 2. So that's, to even be in the conversation with 1, right, to move it up closer, that is good news right there alone. Okay? For it to beat Creed 1, it would have to be nearly perfect. Now, there are some flaws, but again, not a review. We're not going to do that. But I want to focus on the overall point here, which is it's a very strong film, and audiences are really going to like this thing. Denzel and Training Day, thick, right? Denzel, I hear, is not that tall. I've never met Denzel. I'd love to meet him, but I hear he's not very tall. Box office prediction. Okay, $400 million. Now, worldwide on Creed, let's go Creed 2. Creed 2 box office was actually stronger worldwide than it was, than 1 was. Okay, so it made more money, hence we have a 3. But I gotta say, one thing that's important about Creed 3 is that Okay, we're back. You know what's funny? The internet's been being very shitty to me tonight. So hopefully you guys give me a thumbs up if you see me again. I'm back. Here we go. Let's keep going, and hopefully the internet does not this is the first time this has ever happened. But let's look. So here's Creed 2 on the box office. We'll pick it right back up because that's what we do. It's live television. We just go right back into it. Here it is. Creed 2 worldwide was 214. So I would put this, listen, if Creed 2 is at 214, I think 400's a little high. I mean, listen, I think things are very good, but I'm going to go 350 on this. But remember this, that I think that at the end of the day, I'm always going to push up in the environment that we're in right now. In the environment we're in theatrical, I'm going to take up on the number versus down. So I'll take 350. I don't think I'm going to push 4, but I am very high on the film after seeing it. Watch it. I think I'm getting closer and closer to the embargo. So I'm going to pause there and we'll come back to it in the comments. And hopefully we're still here. My God, the internet. Can I just say that? What's it called? Who the hell do I have for internet? They're terrible. I need to get a new internet provider, but unfortunately, I think I have one option here. Okay, let's go to our topic number 2. We just talked about Creed 3. Here it is. Should Netflix be treated the same as the other studios? Universal, Warner Brothers, Sony, right? Any of the major studios, Paramount. Should they be treated the same? Now, I put this out there in a tweet yesterday saying that here's what I propose. Netflix, going forward, should not be eligible for Oscars until they decide to get serious about theatrical and they absolutely dedicate themselves to a full slate of theatrical releases, especially on the films they're pushing for awards. Even films like The Craptacular Gray Man, you should absolutely have theatrical on it. They want to play with the big boys. They want to be treated the same as Disney, as Warner Brothers, as Universal, as Paramount, but they're not, okay? Most people in this town will not say that because they're afraid of pissing Netflix off. You guys know I've gone so far on the bash Netflix train that it's too late. It's gone. There's no way of bringing it back. At this point, if I showed up at a Netflix event, they would kick me out of the line. I wouldn't even not just get into the event. They would kick me out of the entire line. They say, this guy cannot come in, okay? But that's where the power comes. Because that allows me to be the critic that they need, and we need to get this thing going. Because the only way that we can force Netflix's hand to make them jump into theatrical and be treated like they want to be, the same as Warner Brothers, the same as Paramount, the same as any studio you want to name, they've got to commit to the traditional 45-day window, I'm thinking at a minimum. That's what I want out of them. And until they do that, none of their films are eligible. Now, if you want to see a studio turn around and say all of a sudden, oh my God, we've got to all of a sudden get theatrical, it's as soon as you threaten them from getting Oscars, because that's what they want. They want that more than anything. They are still pissed that they lost to Apple last year in Coda. They thought they had it with Power of the Dog. They're like, we have this. They got director. They did not get picture. So when you look at Netflix, the only way that we can get them to commit to theatrical, because they've already said they don't really care about that. They're only worried about streaming. Well, we're going to make you care about it. And here's how we're going to do it. Your films aren't eligible. They're no longer eligible for Oscar until you put them in a theater. Now, you're going to say Coda wasn't in theaters. It was. Apple put a theatrical on that, and they brought it back to theaters when it became a Best Picture contender. Netflix, the only time Netflix has gone wide with a film, okay, actually 2 times. One was very recently, as you guys know, with Glass Onion. The other one was with that Army of the Dead, right? That one they went, and they weren't reporting box office and all this shenanigans. But if Netflix wants to be treated the same as all these other studios, you got to do theatrical. You have to do it. And until you do it, I do not consider Netflix films. I don't, and that's my position, and I think it's a very valid position to be in. And if more people felt that way, then we would make the change. It would happen because they'd have no choice. But I'm out here on an island. A few of you are with me. But you know why most of the other film journalists and critics aren't? Because they will lose access to Netflix films. And that's the worst fear for any critic, to say, oh, you can't watch our films. Great example. Tonight, MGM invited me to see Creed 3. If it's Netflix, I'm not at Creed 3. I'm not there. I can't see it. But the good news about Netflix is they don't give a shit about theatrical, which means I don't give a shit about them. So it's perfect. It's the perfect relationship. So whatever they have, I don't care about. Because the only thing that moves me, the only thing that gets me excited is theatrical. So I don't care about you, Netflix. So it's perfect that you don't care about me. Wonderful. We have the absolutely idyllic relationship. But other critics are afraid. Oh no, Netflix might not send me a link. Netflix might not invite me to the hustle party. They might not let me come see The Gray Man. Who cares? Ultimately, tonight I saw Creed 3. It was awesome. I loved it. But if I didn't see it tonight, I'd see it when it opened. It's not the end of the world. If there were more people out there who would take a stand and would say, hey, we're going to fight for what's right. I know we're talking about movies. I get it. Yeah, right. But in life in general, if you put your foot down and say, listen, I'm not going to talk about Netflix films again until you do theatrical. If everyone in this business, if everyone in the criticism, in the journalism space said, we're not going to talk about you until you do theatrical, do you think that Netflix would flip and say, here you go, AMC, here you go, Regal, we're going to start doing this like a real studio? Yes, they would. The reason they're not is because no one wants to go in there with me. Nobody wants to do it with okay. You asked for it, you got it. The Gray Man popcorn box is here, Alex. It is in the house because it's always here in the MMT studios. You got to turn it so the glare of Ryan Gosling, the halo of the ring light, illuminates Ryan Gosling. Let me get it just there. It's pulled there. It's perfect. And on this side is Chris Evans. It's unbelievable. It's so beautiful. What's it say there? The unstoppable. I never even noticed that. The unstoppable and the uncatchable. God, that's terrible. That's even worse than the movie. That movie is terrible. But Netflix, let's go. Bring it. You guys, tell me I'm right. So how do you really feel about Netflix? That's the beauty of what we do here, Josh. You know that. Is that it is absolutely unbridled. There is no way you can control me or contain me. The studios know that. And again, MGM knows they have a very good movie on their hands and a crowd pleaser and a film that delivers in Creed 3. Otherwise, I wouldn't be there. They would have said no. Just like Paramount after I destroyed Babylon. I mean, literally dismembered the film. They didn't invite me to 80 for Brady. I get it. But then it turned out I liked it. See, that's the thing, right? You're never going to get all positives or all negatives, unlike our shill of the week, Erick Davis. And for those of you who missed the stream, who likes every single movie that he sees. I got to look at it again. I have to look just one more time. I have to look at all the movies that Erick Davis loves. Oh, he's just such a great critic. Let's look. Fresh. Someone saw me. Fresh. The whole page is fresh. What the fuck, dude? Why are all your reviews positive? What the hell are you doing? Let me help you again, Erick Davis, because you still have the tiara for our shill of the week. So I can still hammer you. Dude, all your reviews are positive. The entire page is positive reviews. How is that even a thing? That's 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 4.5, 4.5, 4, 4, 4, 3. Positive. No review, but positive. No number, but positive. 3, 4, 5. Not even a 2.5 positive. Everything's 3.5. He's Mikey. Because Mikey likes everything. That's Erick Davis. I don't ever want to talk about that guy again. He's useless. Useless, that guy. He's useless. What's his point? To serve the studios? Dude has no value to this space. None. Zero. Because he's a propagandist. Is he not? He's absolutely propagandist. He is promoting the studios and the agenda, which propaganda of the studio. This is a great film, right? Didn't he just come out of Ant-Man and say it's the best movie ever made? Something like that. Best sci-fi film ever. Star Wars, unbelievable. We'll see it Monday. I don't know. But, dude, no value. Zero value. Shill of the year. Not me. Yeah, Eric Davis. You make sure you not me. I ain't no shill. You guys know someone said that. You're dead on. Hey, welcome back to it. You're dead on. Netflix is pissed. I mean, let's just say it. Now that, like Josh said, now that I have just absolutely, it's over, right? It's done. We have the relationship is completely, it's never gonna ever be healed. But that's okay. Because if from all of this, from one ranting movie evaluator comes Netflix has theatrical and they have to do it, then it was all worth it. And I will, guess what I'll do at that point? I'll watch a Netflix movie when it comes out on Thursday night for the preview screening. I'll be there to watch. And I will not hold any grudges. But I don't expect to get invited to any Netflix events anytime soon. But my life, I'll be okay, guys. I think I'll be okay. There's other movies. There's other things. The Great Disappear. That's right, Goober. That was amazing on Sunday night, wasn't it? That was amazing that all of a sudden all those reviews were like, here it is. And there they go. Go back and watch that stream. That was my favorite stream ever here in MMT history. They're going to come out and say Ant-Man 3 is the greatest MCU movie ever. Maybe. They're probably saying, some people are saying that. We'll see it Monday, and you guys know what'll happen. I'll come out of the movie, and I'll give you a fair evaluation of the film, just like I did here tonight with Creed 3. So you're never going to get shillathon like a lot of these guys here. David, you were there. You were there for the Babylon. That was I'm so angry that I deleted the stream. So here's what happened. So I came out of Babylon. For those of you who heard the story, just bear with me for a moment. I came out of Babylon and I came down the stairs of the arts and sciences. The academies like used to be their main place to watch movies. Now they have the Academy Museum. I come down and I'm like, this movie's terrible. Oh my God. I can't believe what I just watched. I am literally like spouting off like a crazy homeless person in LA coming down the stairs. And Alan Ng's there from Film Threat. And he looks at me and he's like, dude, my God, you're like losing it. I'm like, that movie is it's atrocious. Babylon is unwatchable. It is a desecration of cinema. That is what Babylon is. A desecration of cinema. Yet Damien Chazelle thinks that end of the film is a celebration of cinema. He literally, that ending montage, I can't stop. The ending montage of Babylon is the elephant taking a shit. It's the same thing. The movie opens with the elephant taking a shit, and then his montage in the theater at the end of the film is the elephant still shitting on the audience. Babylon is horrifically bad. And if anyone says it's good, who's the film guy? The main film Twitter guy, Mr. Know-It-All film guy who always defends Babylon. That's your demise. It's over. I mean, back to Mission Impossible 7, you guys know, it's over. It is over. If you defend Babylon, it's over. There is never, ever a way for you to return to normal. It's done. Who's that guy who likes the film? Someone help me on that. It's terrible, the end montage. Who's the guy? The main guy, he has a podcast. He knows everything about films except that Babylon was horrifically terrible. But he says it's good. That guy. He's not really he's a quasi-shill. Because if you like that film, then you are a shill. John, Netflix should release all movies with the theatrical window. They're a disgrace for downplaying the movie-going experience. John, gold star for you. They are a disgrace for downplaying the movie-going experience. A disgrace. I would absolutely echo that sentiment. 100% stamp of approval on that. That is why I am so fervent in this anti-Netflix stuff. Because they are an affront to the movie-going experience. And they think they can make the rules up as they see fit, when we have existed in this town with theatrical since the dawn of the entertainment business. And now Netflix is like, we're only going to do streaming things. But yet we also want you to consider all of our films for Oscars. No longer. No longer, Netflix. It's over. It's over until you decide to have a theatrical component, and there's no excuse anymore. For those of you like, well, Netflix, they don't really. No, it's not hard. In the old days, you had to make prints of movies, right? They were actual films. You had to make copies and print them up, and then mail, FedEx, ship those SOBs to the theaters. Then they would ring them up, put them on the reel, and run it. If you haven't seen Empire of Light, there's a really good sequence in that film that explains the transferring of the films from reel to reel, the actual pain in the ass that films used to be. Not anymore. Now films are sent on a USB, probably over, the internet. Here you go. Do you have your Wi-Fi on? We're going to send you Creed 3. So Netflix does not have any excuse of the expense of duplicating films like in the old days. So that's off the table. So what's the problem? We want to focus on streaming? That's great. You can still do that. But if you want to be seen as a movie studio, as a studio, the same as Paramount, as Warner Brothers, as Universal, all the ones we've been saying throughout the night, you have to have theatrical or you cannot play in our game. You're excluded. Go sit outside and time out until you get theatrical. And when you get theatrical, then you can come back in and play with the rest of the studios. Until then, you're in the corner with the dunce cap. Go there and stay there and actually do us a favor. Don't even promote your movies because most of them are embarrassing, right? Like there's some new one with Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher, some kind of like romantic comedy that was from the 90s. What is this? I mean, if these are the movies you're making, no wonder you don't want to do theatrical. No one's going to pay to see that film. It's not 1997. Hey, what's a Netflix film that would have even done good numbers other than Glass Onion, which I might remind you was purchased from Lionsgate? What's a Netflix film that they made? Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, right? That one. Was it Army of the Dead? What was the second and whatever? I only watched a little bit. I couldn't even finish that film. But what other films have they had than The Gray Man, the abomination that is, that are really true like movies? You know, every time I see a movie that looks like something I really want to watch, I thank the high heavens that it doesn't have Netflix attached to it. Because that instantly degrades it. It devalues it. To me, when I see a Netflix slate, I say this film I don't want to even watch. So if I'm a director, if I'm Fincher, if I'm Bong, if I'm anybody, why don't we just go ahead and ask Bong, okay? So ask Bong if he'd rather work with Neon, Parasite, or with Netflix, Okja. There, right? Bong is going to say never again Netflix. Because I would. If I were a filmmaker like Tarantino, let's just use him. He loves movies, so he would never sign with Netflix. But if they'd say, hey, Netflix says, listen, we'll pay you $50 million to make your next film with us. And then I get an offer from Sony for 25, 30. He has so much money, it doesn't matter. But even if I didn't, I'm not kidding you guys. It's the truth. It is the truth. You know this. I don't give a crap about money. I mean, obviously pay bills and rent and all that stuff. But I would take the deal from Sony before I'd take any money from Netflix because I value theatrical, I value movies, and Netflix cheapens the movie. It cheapens the film. You guys know I'm right. Give me a thumbs up if you agree. Come in here with a comment. Tell me I'm 100% right because it is true. Netflix does not have the same cachet attached to their films that Warner Brothers, the Paramount, the Universal. It's not even close. Not even close. Look what Amazon Studios did with Air. They're putting it wide, right? And they're doing 3,000 screens, and then they're going to do streaming. And because of that, I want to watch Air. If Air was direct to Amazon, I don't even know if I'd see it. That's the line I've drawn now. If there is no theatrical attached to a film, I do not want to watch it. If there is, I don't care how small it is, I'm more interested in it. Even if it's just a small film. There's one coming out this weekend that's like this found footage thing. I'm forgetting the name of it. Someone hit me up on Twitter with it. And I looked into it, and the reason I was like, I want to watch this is because it's going to be in theaters this weekend. Really small, tiny footprint. But the fact that they're making an effort theatrically means I want to go in and see this thing. So that's just how it works. The rules need to be standardized 100%, right? Army of the Dead was bad, astonishingly poor. Rusty. True. I turned it off. I got to the first, there was like the opening scene, and then they were like in some slow motion, thing. Everyone was in a hotel and eating or something. The zombies were, I go, this is not for me. Zack Snyder, and I know this is going to piss off the Zack Snyder people. When I watch Man of Steel, I'll never forget watching Man of Steel, and I'd seen other Zack Snyder things before that, but I just remember Man of Steel in particular. Loving so much of Man of Steel up until about the halfway point, and then I completely flipped on it, and I go, this is absolutely almost unwatchable in that second half of the film. And that's Zack Snyder's problem. He has a lot of great things going on, and then he, brings the whole thing down, puts it on its knees due to excessive fight scenes at the end of that thing. Whatever it is, it's just too much. It's an orgy of CGI. And it less is more, always, right? That's the number one thing. If I could leave you with anything about MMT and the credo of our mission, less is more, which is why we're not doing as many streams. Less is more. I am adopting it myself. The streams are going to be shorter because less is more. Now the comments come in, you're 100% right. Less is definitely more with MMT. Good. No, it was not David Elric. It was not him. It was Sims? No, not Sims. Shit. Who's the other big guy? Kevin, help me out. Who's the other big film guy on film Twitter? He's an LA guy. I want to say he does a podcast called The Big Picture. I honestly don't remember the guy's name. That guy is freaking out about, he says Babylon's good. And at that point, I go, we can't, man. We just can't do it. I do like Don't Look Up. Okay, I did like it. It's not that I don't love or like some Netflix films. I love The Two Popes. The Irishman would have been a very good theatrical release. It's way too long. It's an hour too long, right? It's better off as a miniseries. But it's not, I'm not saying Netflix hasn't had a good film. Okay, let's make sure that that's not true. What is true is that if Netflix is the studio that is coming out with the film, that is producing it, my interest level is markedly lower. The only time it's going to be higher is something like a David Fincher. But you go back to Mank. Mank was not a good film. Mank was a total bore, right? And that's a Netflix film. And again, the big problem with Netflix is simply that they allow their filmmakers too much freedom. And for a lot of directors out there, screenwriters that hear that, they're like, that is sacrilege what you just said. Directors should be allowed to do whatever they want, to a point. I'm not suggesting that a film should be shot and a director gets taken out of their hands, right? Now it goes to somebody else to finish. But I am telling you that you need to have someone who watches a film and says, we need to do a few things here. Do this. Great example. Tonight, I can't do it because it's the embargo's in place. There is something in Creed 3 that I would absolutely say you have to change that. We're going to remove that and you're going to go do this. When you see it, we'll have that discussion. There is something in the film that if I am a studio head, if I am somebody who is paid to evaluate the work, I would say you need to change that. And that's what Netflix doesn't have. They have nobody. Scott Stuber, the head of the studio film department, he doesn't do that at all. In fact, I am convinced that man just hands out checks. People come into his office, and he goes, all he does is this: what can we do to make you sign? Like, it's almost like we're just going to give you money and let you do whatever you want, which sounds great. But you always need to have somebody who reins you in a little bit. Even here, I mean, there's times you guys have hit me in the comments and gone, you were too much. You said that anybody who likes the whale is a terrible person. Which may be a little much, but the whale's so terrible. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around someone liking it. But it might be too far to say I wish death upon those who like the whale. That might have been, I didn't say that, but you know what I'm saying. So we need that. We absolutely need more. Gore, I listen. The first half of the stream is Creed 3, which you missed tonight. Gore missed Creed 3. He went to go see Titanic and Magic Mike. Now, in the comments right now, tell me who made the better choice. Me, he had an opportunity to do this, to see Creed 3, or him to go see Titanic and Magic Mike. Now, let me remind you before you vote, Chris Gore had the opportunity to see Titanic and Magic Mike tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Guess when he gets to watch Creed 3? The 27th. So, given now that you know that you could either watch Creed 3 tonight and wait, or you have to wait 3 weeks, or would you go see Titanic and Magic Mike that you can see tomorrow at noon? Which one would you have picked tonight? Let Gore know. Let Gore know right now that he made the worst. Thank you, John. It is Sean Fennessy. That I don't know much about Sean Fennessy. I just know that anyone who is as all in on Babylon as this dude is, I will no longer trust ever again with any words about film in the future, in the recorded remainder of history. That's it. It's over. It's done. If you love Babylon, we cannot hang out. We cannot talk. Not that Sean, I don't even know Sean. I probably run into him at a screen. Don't care. Cannot stand Babylon. The Whale is not better than After Sun Gone Girl. You will get, I will go Hulk. I'm going to tear off tonight's kit. If you do that, tonight's kit, by the way, Southampton. The black and the red. I am a black and red guy. Anytime you give me red and black in any combination, I am all over it. Jordan's red and black. Let's go. Oh, Gore, screw you. You know you screwed up. You know. Look, Mark is with me. Creed 3. I still regret seeing Magic Mike last night. In the studio, even bought us food and drinks. Mark. Boom. Gold star. Stick it to Gore. I can't even believe that he picked that tonight. I mean, what a bad decision by Chris Gore. No Sly, no Creed. Okay. It's okay to laugh. You really don't want to like Creed. You said all trilogy. The third is there? Is it a sequel? What is the hell is the word for the third of something? The third always sucks. No, listen, not here. Okay, listen. There's no Stallone. Was that a spoiler? I don't know, but I didn't go. My God, I am not buying this film. Okay. All right. 10-minute warning. This is your 10 minutes. I'm done. I already lost the internet. The chances of us losing thanks to who the hell do I have? Who's my internet here in Los Angeles? They're terrible. Threequel. I guess that's probably right, Cooper. It's probably threequel. Open comment time. Whatever you want to talk about, let's do it. If you missed the very beginning of the stream, before we lost the internet, before we went down and went offline, we talked about Creed 3. By the way, which was not a review. It was not a review. Anything you want to talk about, let's do it on this Thursday. 10-minute warning. If you missed the shill of the week, that's on Sunday night. And I'm taking your suggestions for Sunday night shill of the week. So let me know who you think we should put in the hot seat, right? I have a really good idea who I want to make, and I probably will use, but I'm going to need some ammo from you guys. So if I throw out a name, Pete Hammond, and I say, can you forward me on Twitter some reviews and some absolutely insane things that were said by Pete Hammond, then we will use those on Sunday night when we do our next shill of the week, Pete Hammond. That's who I'm probably thinking about. Maybe you can guess who I'm thinking about. Oh, man, but you know what? It's going to be so hard to beat Eric Davis. I mean, that dude, I mean this in all sincerity, serves zero purpose in this space except to be a shill for the studios. So I need someone, please, before we finish, we have 10 minutes. I need someone to explain to me, because I want to put any comment up that you guys have. Someone please explain to me what the value of his words are in the space, in the film space. What value do Erick Davis's words have in the realm of things you should listen to and people you should trust in the film space? Try to make sense of that. Try to give me something that doesn't start with, from the studio standpoint, he's perfect. That's all you have. That's the only thing that you can say about the words that come out of that dude's mouth. There is zero value to it. And I know that's an uncomfortable truth. I know, Erick, you're being mean and so angry. No, it's true. And if it weren't true, the easy way to combat that is to say, no, it's not true, and here's why. The problem is it's true, and there's no way to defend it. Am I going to go see Titanic? No, I'm not going to go see Titanic again. I have no interest in watching it. The first time around back in 97? The hell was it 97? I was like, this film is too damn long. I don't buy the romance. I never bought the romance between Leo and Kate. They didn't look like a couple to me. There was something about them from a chemistry, from a pure physical standpoint, that I did not ever believe. So naturally, I had a major problem with Titanic, because if I didn't believe the romance, then what am I left with other than the ship going down, which looked amazing, obviously. I mean, the effects, come on. But I'm saying the romance of the film. Was I the only one who didn't buy Leo and Kate as a couple? There's something that didn't work about that. Leo looks like a little boy. He doesn't, at that point, now Leo's a badass. I mean, Leo, if I were a lady, I would be super into Leo. I mean, maybe not if I, like the whole he's older and he's dating a 19-year-old. That's a little weird. But as far as you know what I mean? Like, he's a good looking dude. He's obviously loaded. He's talented. I mean, if I were a lady, I'd be like, I like Leo. But not back then. He looked like a little kid. I didn't buy it. He didn't have the presence. Now we're talking back and we look at tonight at Creed 3. Look at Michael B. Jordan. Look at Jonathan Majors. You talk about a physical presence. You're talking about two guys that when you work out, right, it just makes you have a stronger presence. It's just basic laws of physics, right? So when you go back and look at Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling, early on, was not like as buff and as jacked, and now he's actually really thick now. He looks good. But you go back and you look, when he changed, it was Place Beyond the Pines. It was Drive. He put more meat on his bones. He got a little more physical on him, right? And when you start to add that physicality, then you have that presence, the stronger presence. And Leo is not the biggest dude, okay? Now, I don't think that's necessarily where he needs to be for a lot of his roles. But back then, he just looked like a little boy. It just didn't This is why I'm glad we're still doing the stream tonight. Erick Davis only serves to keep Clayton Davis in second place for worst critic with the last name. Oh my God. This quote, this is the best. This might be my favorite comment ever, Erick. I might have to clip this and put this on Twitter. But everybody, that's so mean. Look, this Eric Jimenez is being mean. And then Eric Weber's reading it. He's mean. Let's cancel him. But the truth is that what I'm reading is pretty accurate. I like Clayton Davis. He's a very nice guy. I know Clayton certainly more than I know Erick Davis. But I mean, there is a very valid criticism of Clayton for being a little bit too up on everything. Now, he has hammered films such as, I believe, Wonder Woman 84. I think he came out of, what was another one he came out of recently? He didn't like it, and he actually was pretty hard on it. I don't think the folks at Variety like that very much. I mean, I told you, like, Variety would never hire me for anything. I mean, or THR or Deadline. Because the studios would instantly call and go, you can't have your guy saying Babylon is a tonal disaster. We can't have that. So, this comment's amazing. This comment's amazing. No, Aliens is better than Alien. I totally disagree. Gone Girl, get out of here. No way. Aliens is way better than Titanic. Oh my God. I feel like I need to start a whole nother stream where I just go off because that is not at all accurate. Gone Girl, you know that we have hung out and watched movies in the same theater. We watched Fall together, for God's sake, which I loved. It's so much fun. But you couldn't be more wrong. Help me, guys, please. Is Aliens better than Titanic? Hell yes, it is. Hell yes, it is. No contest. Oh no, he loves Titanic. I'm telling you, I don't buy the relationship at all. I don't buy it, man. I just don't. I don't buy it. Do they have comedic value? Goober, does Erick Davis have no, he's not funny. So no, he doesn't have any value. Okay, laughing at the tweets, yes. Laughing at his tweets, yes. But as a comedian, no. So again, I don't know where the value is other than for the studios. The studios are the only value that Erick Davis has. And the thing is if he were here, I would honestly invite him on the stream and I would tell him that. And I'd say, what do you want to say to that? And he'd say, well, I'm not a critic. And I'd say, well, then why are you putting out things that look like reviews? If you're not a critic, then why are you saying this is a great film? Because if you're not a critic, you shouldn't be saying anything. You should stay out of it because your opinion is seen and viewed in the light of a critique. So when you have a reaction to Ant-Man or name a film that he's loved, and when we go back and we look at all the reviews from Rotten Tomatoes, pick a film that Erick Davis loved because there sure are a lot of them. All of them. Oh, I just lost it. All of them are there. I mean, so at that point, when you love every film, what's your value, man? By the way, I'm going to look through this one more time. Is there a film in there that's terrible? Man of Steel. 4 out of 5 for Man of Steel. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, 2.5, 3. What the hell is What If? I remember that. I know The Skin's good, but I don't know about 4 out of 5 for that. Spectacular Now, Gravity. Oh, I forgot. Oh, shit. Forget it. At this point, it's done too. I'm so glad we gave him the show of the week. If you're giving Gravity a 5 out of 5, it's over. I mean, it's done at that point. Gravity might be the most overrated science fiction film in the history of science fiction films. I don't think it's even close. Oh, there's a 2.5, by the way, for Machete Kills. He gave it 2.5. It's at 29%, but 2.5 is still fresh because this man knows nothing but shilling. I shill for the studios. That's my job. I will do it, and they will use my quotes. A24 going to produce a horror movie based on the Backrooms. I did not see it. I don't care how old the director is. It's okay to laugh. By the way, I love the passion you have. You're saying this. Bring this. This is what I need. I need to use this stuff. This is wonderful. Great question. So people are asking about the 17-year-old directing the A24 movie. First of all, who cares? Doesn't matter how old the kid is. Okay. If you think that you see talent I've not watched the videos yet, but if I spot talent, remember, it all goes back to this. When I tell you when I watch a film, I don't care if it's a man, a woman, a dog, a giraffe. It doesn't matter, right? I will never evaluate a film higher or lower based on the fact that it's a woman director or minority or a white guy. Doesn't matter. None of these things matter. None of that matters. Zero. Because my world is based on merit. That's it. Merit. So if you believe this 17-year-old merits a direction spot and you're going to give him the money to make his film for A24, if A24 believes that they merit, then what's the problem? Okay. So what if he's 17? We could have a director who's 10 that's good. I don't know. I mean, what's the youngest director ever? Great question. I should probably have that on the top of my head. Who's the youngest director ever to win an Academy Award? There's that. But who's the youngest director ever of a film that was considered at least decent? Doesn't matter how old the kid is, okay? A lot of people are angry. They're like, listen, the world is not fair, okay? If the world were fair, let me just be straight up with you. This channel would have more subscribers than Grace Randolph because Grace Randolph's not good. She's really not, guys. Let's just cut to the chase. Grace Randolph is not great. The reason people watch Grace Randolph, obviously she talks about comic book movies like 24/7. I can't imagine, like, literally that's all you do. Let's talk about that rare character that's going to be in this film, and oh my God, like, that doesn't even interest me. But apparently it does well on YouTube. Don't care. Doesn't matter. But she's not that interesting. I don't think she's that good on camera. There's nothing about her that's great. But she has a ton of people to watch her. Life isn't fair. So the 17-year-old gets a director spot. So what? If you want to be a director, I'm not saying you, it's okay. Maybe you do. Then keep at it. Don't worry about what other people do. So many people do that. They worry about, when we came on MMT, I started this thing, we had like 3 subscribers. Okay. But it didn't matter to me. I mean that. It never did. What matters is almost like I feel like I'm on Road Rules or something where they go into the room and they start spilling their guts in front of the camera. That's what the show is. So if there's one person out there, if there's 2, if there's 0, it doesn't matter to me. What matters is I enjoy doing it. And if someone else out there enjoys it, then that's awesome. So if you go and you base what you do on just fulfilling yourself and not comparing yourself to others, not worrying about, things you can't control, then that's the best way that I've learned in my many years on this planet to exist, is to just focus on you, focus on what you want to get done, and let that be your primary driver. So, I go to the gym. You guys know, God knows I send enough selfies. But the point of it is not to say, look how great this is. It's more to inspire and to get someone else out there to say, look at this. You can do it, right? Because you can. Because I did. And I've never touched any kind of performance-enhancing drug in my life, okay? But I go to the gym, and you watch anybody that sees me at the gym, Equinox, you talk to any one of the trainers in there, first of all, they'll know who I am because I come in there dressed like an NFL cornerback. It's kind of ridiculous, okay? But the point is whatever it takes to drive you. And then other people will notice that you are busting your ass. You're in the space. You're doing things. That's what this channel is. That's what life is. And so if the 17-year-old has a film, good, go for it. That's what we want. I want to celebrate that. Now, if the movie sucks, then we might revisit this conversation and say, why did A24 give a film, and allow a film to be directed by a 17-year-old who hadn't proven himself? You can ask that question, but right now, let's not do that. Let's just focus on the positives of maybe this guy is good. There, thank you, Goober. Chazelle, the youngest to win, which makes sense when you go back and you look at, first of all, Whiplash is by far Chazelle's best film. Anyone who puts Babylon even in the same universe with Whiplash instantly is over, right? It's done. There's no returning from that. There's no returning from calling Babylon good either, but let's just start with that. So Whiplash is number 1 film. Number 2 is La La Land, and then number 3 is First Man, and then we get to, as we say all the time with Moneyball, which you see behind me, all the way up there in the corner. There's, the Yankees, the Red Sox, there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's us, the A's. That is Damien Chazelle. There is Whiplash, La La Land, First Man, 100 feet of crap, and Babylon. There's no other way to view it. If you have that flipped or you have something else wrong, then it's over. And I, I say it all the time, but it's true. There's certain things in certain films you can't be that wrong about. I didn't say I hated Titanic. I said I didn't buy the romance between Leo and Kate. So instantly the film's not going to work like it should for me. The effects are good, obviously. The sets, the fact that everything is actually, it's not as much CGI back then. The CGI wasn't as good. Sure, there was CGI, but he built the sets. That matters to me. And the one thing I can say positive about Babylon is production design. If you're going to mention one thing about Babylon, it's the fact that you have the world building. Anytime you have a period piece, you're going to have production design, right? That's always going to go hand in hand. So period piece equals production design. And obviously science fiction equals production design. Anytime you're building a world. A film set in a classroom, set in Los Angeles on the street, like Emily the Criminal is not going to be production design, right? Because it's on the street. There's no production design. I mean, there is, but you know what I mean. It's minimal. So that's what you recognize about Titanic, so recognize about Babylon. So there's certain, that's what I always talk about too. When we're looking at films, you're looking at the elements you're trying to extract that are good. So ultimately, for a great film, you have multiple elements that are elite, right? Cinematography, score, direction, clearly, editing, production design, right? All these things, sound, all the elements, script, screenplay, of course, all these elements. When you have multiple elements within that film that are elite, that are top notch, that are, stellar stuff, then you are talking about an awards film. Tar, perfect example. Tar excels first in direction, in screenplay, in cinematography, score next to nothing. I talked to Todd Field about that. He said there is a score from Hildor. She worked on it for, I think he said like 2 years, but he buried it so low in the mix that it's almost indiscernible. So because of that, not score, but editing, it's certain. And I go back again, cinematography of Tar. I'm so happy that film got a nomination for best cinematography, because go back and watch Tar. One of the really strong points of that film is the coverage, as TJ Molnar, friend of mine, JT, Molnar, who's a director, who mentioned on Twitter, is one of the first things he says, the coverage. Just so many unique angles that are used in Tar. I think that's one of the strengths of Creed 3. Speaking of, coverage, when you watch Creed, whoever was the cinematographer on this, I could pull it up, but doesn't matter right now. The stuff is tight. The stuff looks really good. And that's another reason why Creed 3 is stronger than 2. The cinematography here and the edits, not everything, there's some issues, but overall is stronger. It's closer to Coogler than 2 was. And I think that what Coogler did with 1 is like, oh my God, Creed 1. So if we're back closer to Creed 1, which we are here, then that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, we're almost done. Last couple minutes and we're out of here, and then we're back. Thank you, Kevin. None of that was a review. I wasn't even talking, just because I wasn't even talking about Creed 3. I was talking about Creed 2. Can't even. They're gonna tell me tomorrow. But it wasn't a review. Exactly, the score's barely there, which is what I told Todd Field, and Todd was like, yeah, it's there. I'm like, listen, man, if you have to tell me it's there, it's not there. It's not there, man. Which director peaked too early? Last question of the night. Let's do it. It's okay. You've been very good tonight. I like the content. Cameron Crowe, Chazelle, Jenkins. It's too early for certainly for Chazelle. Okay, Jenkins. If you're talking about Patty, which I have to assume you are, then you're definitely talking about Wonder Woman 84. I don't know what she's gonna do next, but to wipe the taste of that literally turd out of your mouth, it's going to be so hard. She's going to have to go back and do another monster, right? She had to go back and do something that is just grounded and different, not anything like that. And kudos to James Gunn for not letting her do part 3. I don't care if that's un-PC. After Wonder Woman 84, she doesn't deserve part 3. You can't let her do it. You can't let her do it. If you let Patty do 3, it's over. The franchise is done. I mean, it's virtually dead now after Wonder Woman 84, which is one of the worst CBMs ever. She'll forever be behind us here with her eyes and her tiara, because it just reminds me of how terrible a CBM it is. And also the fact that Warner Brothers sent an FYC. Couldn't believe it. By the way, I never looked at the quote. Okay, here's the quote from Slash Film. Who the hell was this? Jamie Graham. I don't know who the hell that is, but this is one hell of a quote, bro. Maybe it's a girl. Maybe Jamie's a girl. I have no idea. Full of heart, spectacle, and wonderment. I mean, I can't even process what I'm reading. I never noticed it until tonight. Full of heart, spectacle, and wonderment. By the way, wonderful. By the way, that's so brilliant there, Jamie. Putting wonderment in there for Wonder Woman. That was so good. God, that's such a great quote. So bad, that film. Let me think on that, and we'll come back on Sunday. Sunday night, we're back. We are going to be here with our shill of the week, Pete Hammond, And we're also going to have Magic Mike review, which I think I'm going to really get into. I mean, like, I think this is a film that is going to be like, let's do it. Kind of like me and Creed. But Creed was the opposite side. Creed made me want to get out and go, let's go to the gym. Let's go now. I want to go again. I just came from, let's go again. Is it open? I'm going to go in there and just start punching the bag. That's what we want. That is the magic of movies, and you're going to get it here in a few weeks. By the way, none of this review for Creed 3, none of it, 0% of this stream tonight was a review for Creed 3. For those of you who made it through the blackout, thank you for your patience, and you were rewarded with a C- show. I'll see you guys Sunday here on MMT, but for now, we are out. Live from Los Angeles, Erick Weber. Good night. See you on Sunday. Peace, y'all. Did I hit the button? I was supposed to time